Second Cup, brought to you by the Nickel Plate. Sit, sip, savor, and shop.
Hi there, good morning to you. It's 8 o'clock on the start of your Thursday morning.
I was going to try to get out our mugs.
I know, here, I can do it. Second Cup, sponsored by the Nickel Plate.
We're on top of it this morning, everybody.
I love it. Listen, we have a really cool guest here with us. Ramonda from M&T is here with us. Ramonda, you're the president of the M&T Employee Resource Group for African American employees.
I am the immediate past president, actually, of the African American Resource Group. But what they've given me is the ability to be our educational impact lead. So at M&T Bank, we are really interested in making sure we impact the lives of the students in the communities in which we sit. And so that's what I lead right now.
So M&T, a huge employer here, but it's also about the future and creating opportunities.
We were just talking right ahead of Second Cup coming on, and you guys have a big event that's coming up.
Yes.
Tell us all about it and how kids can get involved.
Huge event. So hopefully you'll be able to get the link up. But if not, you can contact M&T at collegeday@mtb.com. And we're hoping to get 400 juniors, seniors, parents, guidance counselors over to Seneca One, which is in our tech hub. As I'm sure you know, M&T has led the way for the tech hub. And we want you to come out and take part in what we're calling our Historically Black College, Hispanic Serving Institutions, and Tribally Controlled Colleges and Universities Day. That day is going to be filled with giveaways, information about financial aid. We're going to have exhibitors there that are going to tell you about how to get money, because I'm a parent, my son attends an HBCU, and it's expensive. And so you need a little money, and all of us don't get as much from the government as maybe we hope for. So we're going to have people there to help you with that as well. But we're also giving away laptops.
Ah, yes.
we need those.
It kind of needs one.
They won't, inside baseball here, they won't give me one because it's not 5 years old just yet. But
bring a student over.
Turning off, and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to be at your event. Like,
so Caitlin says that M&T came into my high school economics class and got signed up for bank accounts, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Ramonda, talk to me, because this is something that I'm really passionate about. And I think it's really important to make sure that people are aware of this. There is opportunity available for students who are of a minority culture. Why is it important to have this community reach out, this opportunity for historically Black students and Hispanic students to get into college and higher education? Well,
here's what's in M&T really wants everybody to know. This is open to everybody. So yes, we are targeting Black students, Hispanic students, our indigenous students. But what you should know is HBCUs in 2023, 24% of the students there are non-Black. HBCUs, HSIs, TCCUs, which are the acronyms for those three federally designated areas of higher education, are just really good schools. But again, you want to be able to see yourself when you walk into a space. You want that belonging when you walk into a space. And these institutions offer that. And also, I can speak for HBCUs again, because again, my son attends one. They graduate Black students at a higher level than our predominantly white institutions. I attended a predominantly white institution, UB myself, right here in Buffalo. This is how I got here. I'm not a Buffalo native, but I've been here ever since I graduated from UB.
Where are you from?
I'm from Rochester, right down the road. Right down the road.
So here's my other question too, since you said, okay, you have a son in college right now.
Yes.
So you've been through this process.
Yes.
It is expensive. So Aaron, our meteorologist, he's got 3 kids that are kind of like in the thick of this process.
Aaron, bring him down.
But we hear about this a lot, like Ed and I do, because of the people we work with. And so when you're talking about other opportunities that kids are going to learn about when they're there, what kind of stuff are we going to be telling them, and what will they be kind of opened up to?
Okay, this is the good stuff. I'm going to tell you about all the workshops we're going to have. We have Dr. Jerry Inglet, who works in our wealth area. He's going to do an entire hour workshop, again, on financials. And parents, please come with your student so you can hear this information. we're going to have a parent-to-parent workshop that's going to walk you through some of the stuff that Erin and I went through to get our students into college. Those things like, hey, set up a separate email address for your student just for those college applications.
That's really smart.
Here's something else we really want everyone to know that M&T is doing. There is an application called the Common Black College Application. What we have been able to do is get free codes. So that's going to enable seniors only, so if you're class of 2025, to apply to over 60 HBCUs, again, that's historically Black colleges and universities, for free.
Wow.
Love that.
All you have to do is show up. Do you know how much this saves you? Applications can be anywhere from $20 to $60 a piece. You can do this for free and apply to over 60 schools.
Wow.
So
That alone is worth a trip down to Seneca One, I say.
Kim is wondering, is this for all students regardless of color?
It is for everyone, and it is not just for Buffalo Public Schools students, private, chartered, homeschool, Williamsville, Lockport, wherever you are, feel free to register, come on down, but there is a limit. We have a limit of 200 for the morning session, which is from 9 to 12 a.m. And then we have an afternoon session, which will be identical, and that is from 1 to 4 p.m.
Okay, so we want to make sure that we're registering ahead of time if
Yes.
we definitely want to get that spot.
Because
John
there
put a
is
link in the
capacity.
comments here.
Yes.
It's College and University Day 2024 High School /splash.com. Okay, but either way, you can click on the link.
Yes.
Give us an idea of when this is.
It is September 26th, so that's next Thursday. And again, there are 2 identical sessions, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then there's the second afternoon session from 1 to 4 p.m. 200 students, parents, guardians in the morning, 200 students, parents, guardians in the afternoon. And here's another catch. How important is it for you to visit those colleges and universities that you're interested in seeing? But it can be, again, be really expensive. If you come to College Day at M&T, you take our post survey, we have a $500 Southwest Airlines gift card that you can qualify to get.
Oh my God.
Then you can go visit the college and university of your dreams and see if it's really a fit.
You got to step on that
You-
campus
you do.
sometimes. I
You
just
do.
feel like, is
And
this
sometimes
home?
virtual is not
Yeah,
enough.
it's
You
not-
want to
that's
put your
nice.
feet on the
Right.
ground.
Is
and
this
see
home
it.
for me for the next 4 years? That's
Yes.
a tough question.
It is.
Yeah.
And believe me, when my son did all of it last year, it cost me a ton. But once we went to the University of Maryland Eastern Shore, who will be there at College Day, he knew that was his home.
Good for
He knew
him.
that was his home.
Yeah.
Thank you, M&T. This is a huge deal for so many around Western New York. M&T, really lucky to have you, Armanda.
Thank you.
You're a really great representative for them. Do you want to give a shout out to Sigma Gamma Rho?
Absolutely. If we're
Great,
talking
yes.
about education, we have to talk about my own sorority, which was founded by 7 educators.
Love that.
Fantastic.
Thank
This
you
is
so
coming
much for
from a
coming in.
fraternity,
Thank you.
from a fraternity boy too. So.
Sure is.
Still
Mhm.
loving that tie.
Thank you, my friend. Here's the QR code for you if you're interested in getting more information or signing up to reserve your spot. Again, limited to 200 in the morning, 200 in the afternoon. All of this happening at Seneca One's M&T Tech Hub that's in downtown Buffalo next Thursday. So keep that in mind. A great opportunity
Yeah,
for all
It
students.
really does sound like a great opportunity. Just looking at a couple of these comments, Connie saying, I wish I would have done this 15, 20 years ago when my kids went to college. And Caitlin saying those application fees are half the struggle for her. So sometimes
Yeah.
it's something like this that you go, you check out, you go to the event, you get the information,
Yeah.
and there's more opportunity.
And I know we're shutting down, but if I could just stick in one more
Go
thing.
for it, my girl.
There are going to be over 15 colleges and universities, many of which will waive the application fee if they're not one of those HBCUs, and doing on-site acceptances.
Oh,
So
cool.
please come down.
Love that.
This is a great opportunity.
is.
And
It is.
I
Don't
really am
miss
so
it.
grateful that you came in.
Thank you
chat
for
with
having
us.
us. We really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Absolutely. Ramona, thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
You know, it's so hard to make ends meet these days, and to hear that some of these colleges will be waiving some of those fees, it just goes such a long way. And again, we've got the information in the comments here. You can check it out. John posted that link for us,
Right.
and Caitlin says
So
I got
sorry
scholarships
those
and
didn't
federal
come
aid, and
over.
still wasn't enough.
Okay, so even listening to her say a regular scholarship is between, or excuse me, to apply to a school, it could be like 20 to 60 bucks.
Right.
Well, you're not just applying to one school because you've got like your dream school, right? Then you've got a couple schools you're not sure about. You've got your safety school, as they would always say, like,
Yeah.
oh, I feel like I could really get in here. Maybe, you know, even if they're 20 bucks each and you apply to 5 of them, that's $100. But if they're up to 60 bucks each, that's like 300 bucks.
She's so wonderful. I
Yeah.
really loved having her on. She was a really great
So
representative.
that's a
Ramona.
good asset. And even if you don't have college kids in your life, pass it along to
Yeah.
those who do.
Okay, I have a question for you, and I want to know. I would love to hear actually what you have to think about
Me?
this. Not you.
Okay.
I want to know what you have to say about this. A new Siena College poll just came out, and it shows that Governor Hochul's favorability ratings and her approval ratings are at an all-time low. I mean, we are talking dropping more than a dozen points to historically low levels.
Mhm.
So Governor Hochul, obviously from Western New York, she is a Hamburg native. She's done many things in her career, elevating her to this level of governor of New York State, one of the most powerful people in the state political system. I am wondering what you have to say about
Okay,
this.
I wanted to pull up the actual favorability rating. So Governor Hochul has a 34 to 54% favorability rating, down from 39 to 50% in August. Her job approval rating, 39 to 56%, down from 46 to 49 in August.
That's a big drop.
It's also, I will say, a big swing. 39 to 56%, like 20 percentage points. That's a big swing.
And so what they're saying is that Hochul has a lower approval rating or favorability rating than Donald Trump
In New York State.
in a New York State, which is a historically blue state. I would love to hear what you have to think about it. Connie says, I believe it. It's politics. I get it. But look, we've got a big election coming up in November. And to see the way things are shaken out, it's just fascinating to me. Anyway, I could go on about this. Let's talk about something else.
Maybe people start chiming in a minute. Or Ed was like, I can't wait to talk about this. I was like, I don't know. I don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, Sarah, that's pretty bad. I don't mind her though. Let's see here. Ed Dranch or Michael Wooten for governor. Oh, dear Lord, Peter, what are you trying to do for us here? Put Dranch in office? I don't know
Maybe
about
one
that.
day.
Yeah. Kim thinks it's a lot because of the bail
Mhm.
reform. That has been a huge conversation topic.
Lori says Kathy Hochul has not really done anything for us. Diane weighing in saying her policies are backwards. Bail reform being the biggest. Let me just to her credit, this was something that was bail reform in particular was something that was instituted by Governor Cuomo.
Correct.
And obviously she was lieutenant governor at that point, and she would argue that she and Cuomo really didn't have much of a relationship at all. Yet, during her tenure, bail reform has changed.
There have been
kind of
changes.
rolled back slowly but surely, but not to the extent where things are perfect.
And I think part of the problem is that we saw what an issue some of it had potentially become.
Mhm.
Howard, I wanted to pull up your comment too, because he says, well, listen, I guess I'm the lemon on the fence. I like that phrase, lemon on the fence.
Interesting.
I thought she was doing okay.
What is it that you approve of, Howard? I mean, there are people who do approve of her policy, approve of her governing. Lori says bail reform is not working. Elizabeth says, I don't mind her, but I also think she hasn't done much. Lori saying bail is a joke.
Bail is the number one thing it appears that everybody else is talking about. Is there anything else that you think of? Is it just this bail reform? You know what it is? I always think, this is just my personal opinion, which whatever, this is second cup, I guess I can share it.
Go for it, babe.
I always think that favorability ratings tend to reflect the economy. I don't know, and don't get me wrong, like I know they're targeted questions, like what do you think about this particular person? But I think that when people get those questions, they know that person's in charge of some aspect of their life and they're kind of looking at things right now.
Mhm.
And I think the economy is tough for a lot of people right now. So I think that sometimes that gets passed off to how they feel about the person who's in charge.
It's always a what have you done for me lately kind of culture.
Yeah. And if I feel like I'm not getting the things I need, and if I feel like I'm falling behind, even though I'm working so hard and you know what I mean? I'm struggling here, I'm doing this. Like, who is the person who can change that for you in your mind? It's the person who's in charge.
Howard says she seems involved, interested, and feels she has the right path forward, although many times they can't do any more than they can. Sometimes their hands are tied. Interesting. Speaking of the economy, we're talking about credit card interest rates at hugely high levels.
So this was blowing my mind. And I'll tell you, I actually just got a credit card from a store that I've had a store card with, and they switched to a regular credit card.
What store?
Kohl's. They switched to a Capital One card now.
Okay.
And I'm back and forth
What's
over
in your wallet?
And I'm back and forth over if I'm going to keep it, because I registered for it because it was a store card. You know what I
was
mean?
the interest rate?
I don't know. I usually pay it off because let's be real. If I'm buying something at Kohl's, I'm probably not buying something that I truly can't afford at
Mhm.
Kohl's. I'm probably buying a dress. I'm probably buying some makeup. No, they have Sephora
Some
in there.
credit cards, though, from these stores, the
So-
interest rates are at 30%.
Okay, so that's the thing. Then I started reading the red tape or taking a look at the, tiny print when it came to me. And if you're not paying that store credit card off, so again, maybe it's a store credit card, you're buying your shirt and tie and you're like, I'm going to pay this off the second I get it. But if you're not paying it off right away, the interest rates are so high.
right.
We're
That's a lot of
talking,
money.
and you're right. It is up to like 30%.
So I'll tell you, Sarah says, oh, they did? Shoot. I'm not crazy about that change at Kohl's.
So it happened to me. It hasn't happened to everybody I know who has that card, but it did happen to me.
So I don't really, exactly. I don't really, well, I do use credit cards.
I don't really use credit cards. I'm
Okay. What I was going to say is I don't really use those store credit cards anymore. Like I have the TJ Maxx credit card.
You're a Maxxinista. We know this about you.
I don't really use it anymore because I mean, I'll pay it off, but I don't love that it takes so much to get the rewards. I don't love the interest rate, and I'd rather just use my regular credit card and get the points.
So I think that it totally depends on what kind of credit card you have, because I like to use my credit card and get cash back.
Yeah.
And so I will, a lot of times, I'll be like, do you want to put this on your store card? No. Now, the reason I like a store like Kohl's is because I get those 30% off coupons, and every now and then get 40% off coupons. And my husband, God bless him, has found a suit from Kohl's. It's one of their store brands that he actually likes to wear. And he doesn't wear suits very often. So like, it's hard to get him to do this. So like, I know that I can always buy him like a suit pant, a suit jacket at Kohl's. So like when I get that 40% off, that's what I'll use it for.
So Caitlin says this is absolutely why I've never gotten a credit card. I can't trust myself. I get it. Lauren says I never open store credit cards. Sarah says Kohl's keep it coming and going with coupons and Kohl's
My brother
cash.
calls it a Ponzi scheme. He thinks it's so funny. And it is.
Right. Well, and it gets you right back in the door, doesn't it?
Well, right, because you're going to spend that Kohl's cash. You're not going to not spend it. And then you're like, well, I have $20 in Kohl's cash, but this is $30. I guess I'll just throw it on the card.
Right.
You
Melly
see how
says,
it goes.
can someone pay off my credit card? And that's the whole thing. Like if we're not paying off those credit cards, you're paying interest at an incredibly high rate. So how do you survive nowadays? You know, obviously the Fed's cut the interest rate by 0.5 percentage point, but I feel like a lot of people are just simply living on their credit cards.
God, and here's the thing. You start digging yourself into a hole when you're not paying it off and you're paying off the minimum for a couple of months.
Right.
Oh boy, because then it's just so hard to get out of it.
Mary says, I also have a care credit. I think you mean Kohl's credit, but it's always free interest if you pay off an 18-month. What credit is that, Mary? I'm sorry. A care credit?
I don't know.
What are we talking about here?
Now, Connie, you are not wrong about this too, because a lot of people say, oh, I just don't want a credit card. If you want to rent a car, like a budget, whatever those big car rental places, you 99% of the time you need a credit card.
Interesting, because you've got to put it down and...
Exactly, because I've known someone who didn't have a credit card before and wasn't able to do it.
Oh, okay, Sarah, thank you very much. It's for healthcare related things. Care
nice.
credit, you use it at the vet, Mary says. Interesting.
Nice.
Mary weighing back in, care credit is for medical or dental payments. I didn't even know this was a thing.
Care credit, very nice.
Make sure you can pay it off every month.
Lori says she's known for her Kohl's deliveries in her neighborhood.
Well, there you go. Make sure you can pay it off every month or you start getting under. So I'll tell you, I have a Bank of America card and I, was getting charged interest, when I had a larger balance, and I was like, because sometimes I'm just paying whatever I can and it was what it was. But I called the bank and I'm like, hey, can you lower my interest rate? And I feel like you can do that and you should do that.
All you can do is ask.
Right.
What are they going to say? No.
And if you're paying 30%, be like, you know what? I'm going to cancel this card. And if you threaten them in that way, I'm sure they're going to be like, no, please don't do that. We'll lower it to this rate for you. At least, you give them an ultimatum and they're bound to give you something. But what I didn't realize was that my interest rate had already been super low. 9% compared to the 30 is a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. So wait, when you called in, it was 9%. Did they lower
no.
it? They wouldn't lower it.
Right, because they're like, this is as low as we can go.
Okay.
And I thought 9% was high.
It used to be. It used to be.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about, Caitlin says, rental agencies lied too. They said you could use a debit card if you have 3 times the amount in your account, and they wouldn't let us rent. It was tax season. I definitely had it. Yikes. That stinks. Well, nonetheless, you just got to be careful, especially as we talk about like holiday shopping, for instance. Everyone is going to be shopping nowadays, and they're saying that online shopping is going to be surging in the next couple of months.
And we were just reading in the news today that Amazon is doing Prime Days in, what was it, October now, I think. So this is like one of their first, or if not their very first ever fall Prime Days. As I'm looking at deals and steals out of the corner of my eye on Good Morning America, like we love a good deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
We really do. And so we pay attention to all of this different kinds of stuff that goes on. And we'll have to, as Prime Days gets closer, kind of look at what potential good deals are there.
So have you started your holiday shopping yet? I know we had this conversation a little bit the other day.
A little bit, but like not like I normally do. I'm going to be in trouble. I already know it.
You think? Lori says, I enjoy online shopping compared to in-store shopping. Lori, explain that to me. Why is that for you? And
I love in-store shopping personally. Like I love to look at things. I love all that stuff.
I do too.
I totally get the convenience though of online shopping.
I'll tell you, I've started online shopping more and more. And I think it's more convenient to do the online shopping for like odds and ends, you know, like things that you may not necessarily be able to find
because
in the
you're like,
store.
if I go to the store, am I going to find this?
Right.
Melon baller.
But when it comes to like clothing or it comes to other things, other essentials, I guess, I want to be able to touch it. I want to be able to feel it, try it on.
Here's the thing about online shopping. It is so instantaneous.
Also fair.
So like, I really try not to just click, I buy it. I try to like put stuff in a cart, hold off on it for a few days, go back and actually take a look on if I need it. Like, how long did I talk about that couch before I bought that
Way
couch?
too long. It was so annoying.
And
I finally bought it.
And it was a big purchase though. So like that kind of stuff, I can't pull the trigger on immediately. Takes me forever.
Christine says, definitely in-store shopping for shoes and clothes for me. Peter says, I think I'm more hybrid with in-store and online shopping. Clothing, I still prefer to do in person. Me too.
Shoe shopping online has been tricky for me. I thought I had it like totally down, and then I got some shoes that didn't work, and then I got a pair that did, and now I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing.
Okay, so Kim says my sister online shops for everything. I started recently shopping with a brand. I bought a pair of pants from this one brand, and I'm like, oh, they fit perfectly. I got a recommendation from a friend. They looked really good on him, and I'm like, I want to look that good. So I got them, tried them on. They fit perfectly. I'm like, this is great. And then I bought another pair and they didn't fit very well.
Was it the exact same pair?
It was the exact same pair in a different color.
A different color?
Yes.
That's it.
And
Because
so
Paul likes this one store, but you really do have to look at measurements for every single thing.
and it's so frustrating because I got the small and the small in the other color didn't fit. So I'm like, well, okay, I'll get the medium. The medium was
big.
way too big.
Weird.
So I'm like, this is so weird.
That's frustrating.
And I was very frustrated because then I'm going back and
How
forth.
expensive were these pants?
Pretty expensive. They were like $100.
Well, that really makes me mad then. Because if they're like $30 pants, you're like, okay, obviously they're cutting corners somewhere. So the two sizes are different. And maybe I just don't get those anymore.
I was kind of pissed. I'm not going to lie. Caitlin says, yeah, clothing and shoes aren't always accurate with sizing and you think it's going to fit and be fine. It doesn't work out.
Yeah.
That's frustrating where you think it's too big. So you get the smaller size and you got to go back and forth, wait for the return.
So I'm a big fan of Amazon because I can return at Kohl's.
Yeah, love that.
That's easy. But even that, you got to go do it. You know?
Caitlin says, I miss Ames.
Ames.
Karen says, I have to try on everything online is tricky in sizing. Pain to have to return. And that's my point, right? Like you just want it to fit right away. Exactly, Lauren.
Oh, Barb, I've had this happen to me too. She bought jeans in her size, sent pants 2 sizes smaller. I bought a dress in the size that I wanted, and they sent me a size that was probably like 5 sizes bigger. So I have this dress at home that just doesn't fit me right now. Right now.
I'm glad you said it.
On that note, it's National Sponge Candy Day on Saturday. So I just wanted to take the time to let everyone know Ed and I have been working on this bag of Fowler's sponge candy.
Where is your favorite sponge candy?
Oh, I don't know. I like all of it. I like Watson's. I like Fowler's. I like Park Edge.
I love Park Edge.
If you make a sponge and I didn't mention you, I promise I still like it. I just didn't have a chance to say it.
I like the dark chocolate sponge.
Agreed.
There's just something, so delicious about dark chocolate.
This one is milk chocolate.
Yes, also very good.
Hasn't stopped us from eating it. Venkowski stole a bag.
Nothing wrong with that. Watson's, Barb says. This is Fowler's.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own recipe. Kind of says, yes, Ed, my favorite. Diane likes the orange chocolate.
Oh my gosh, I hate the orange chocolate.
Connie says the orange is good. Oh, Shirley likes co-ed.
Guys, I can't.
I don't think I've ever been to co-ed.
Have you had? Oh, I've been to. Come on, yes, I bought you something from there because every time I pass it, I think about you and me.
That's on. Oh, that's cute. That's on Clinton, isn't it?
It's on
Like a pass
South
it-
Park. What street is
Is it in
it?
South Buffalo?
Abbott? Is it on Abbott? Which street is it? It's in South Buffalo,
Yeah,
and
I
I
definitely
go.
passed it a million
I
times.
think it's on Abbott, and I go right by it, and it makes me think Katie and Ed. I always think it says Katie and Ed, but it says
Aw.
co-ed.
Cute.
Do you want one?
No, my stomach kind of hurts from having so many before.
It smells so good though.
They're delicious. Anyway, we got to get the show on the road. They're on Abbott, co-ed. Have a great day.